In the bottom window is the stocks only AD line for the New York Composite. The next window up is the volume oscillator for stocks only New York Composite, ratio adjusted. The next window up is the McClellan volume oscillator for the NYA, ratio adjusted. And at the top, the McClellan ratio adjusted breadth oscillator for the NYA. And the last time we looked at this chart, we were looking at the bullish arrows. So when the arrows are on the bottom, it's the bullish arrow, and when it's at the top, it's the bearish arrow. So we'll see the link for the previous video that explains the last bullish arrow here and the breadth arrows pointed up along with volume. So now we're looking at the top here where the McClellan breadth oscillator for the NYA has really reached some extreme levels here. So that is extremely overbought there. Advancers over decliners. And the volume oscillator is just about the same for McClellan's breadth oscillator up here. So they're both the same. And the stocks only volume oscillator is the same for the 19 EMA in blue and the 39 EMA in red here. And the AD line is pointed down. And NYA price here is also pointed down. So while the same as the previous video with the arrows on the bullish bottom down here, is it going to be completely opposite because they're up here? So that would be a very bearish indication to have all the breadth and volume oscillators sailing away to the upside and pointed up, and price in the AD line pointed down. And here's a snip from the big board chart that has the New York traditional McClellan breadth oscillator. And it's really at some high levels. I would have to do research to find out if this is a record. Probably not. It could be similar to the downside, where 3,000 to 6,000 is not unheard of, but this is at 5,000, so that's extremely rare for upside, meaning negative. It would take 4,952 decliners over advancers just to get back to zero. And I say that's pretty hard to do as price takes the stairs up and the elevator down. So this was really incredible here. And from what I've been hearing, there's several $1 trillion on the sidelines in money market funds that traders and investors could be putting to work in the stock market. So if that keeps pouring in and this continues to climb a little more, maybe for a couple more days or part of next week coming up, and this down arrow in red here, NYA price, if that gets an upwards trajectory, I'll change it to blue. And if that happens, and the AD line for stocks only does not do the same, so it still has a downwards trajectory when that happens, and of course all these would probably still have their upwards trajectories on the top here, then that would be a warning and red flags flying all over the place for a negative divergence on the bearish side there. And just as it stands now, having it completely opposite on the top part here that is comparable to the bottom from last video, that's already contrarian just because of the fact it's opposite of that. And if this was buying because of breadth and volume, then it could be selling because breadth and volume is too extended. So as long as price and the AD lines stay in line with each other, it will probably be a pullback. I mean, this is huge up here on the ratio adjusted breadth oscillator up on the top. And a slight pullback would be warranted, and then a continuation, maybe get a complex pattern well above zero, just like back here. Here's a nice one here. Here's another nice one. Even though it had a downwards trajectory, it was still well above zero and having some nice up and downs. Same thing here. Here's a really good one over here. Yeah, that was the beginning of the big run up. So something to watch out for.